Welcome to the second day of Seriencamp conference. I'm really happy to kick off day 2, chock full of a lot of panels, discussions, case studies, work in progress, exclusives. I think one of the things that that maybe stands out during this day, there is a little bit stuff in there that's maybe not the usual things that you see at a TV conference, especially the second panel that we do about aesthetics and AI. Hopefully it generates a little bit of input and hopefully inspiration also. But the first session today is the one that's in the second year in Cologne, a little bit of a tradition. It's done in cooperation with the European Showrunner think tank and the EFS here in Cologne. Very thankful for their expertise in putting this panel together and bringing two wonderful experts here around the topic of showrunning here in Europe. I'm very happy to welcome here up on stage Barbara Petronio, and I hopefully pronounce it correctly, MIIKKO OIKKONEN. Please welcome up on stage, and this is your applause.
I would like to focus with you on the showrunning model and on specifically on the showrunning model you have. But I would like to ask you before, you are a writer and a director,
yes.
And then you decided to become a showrunner. So why did you do this? Did you have this decision, or it was a natural thing?
It was part of the founding the company, the first company, production company in 2009. My collaborator there, co-founder Matti Halonen, producer, and I were thinking that the TV is rising, everywhere. And in Finland, it was quite small business. It was mainly made by local money for the local people. And we were thinking that there is a possibility to actually make content which might travel content-wise, and that might be a possibility actually have more funding for the productions. And what we decided when we founded this company, that we try to learn how the US business is actually doing those shows. And Matti started to figure out the financing part, what kind of tools there might be, and I started to study writer's room technique and showrunning. And we decided to actually test this.
So you were before a director, and then you...
Yeah. Before that, I was producing shows and actually one weekly show in YLE, the Finnish broadcasting company, and 10 short films for the other students in the university. So I was producing and then writing and directing my own little things, and also editing a couple of shows. So I have done those different kind of jobs before we started this company. And we tested this method with our first series called Nymphs Fantasy Series, and have a couple of writers with me. And I was one of the directors, main director there, but there was another one, so I have to figure out how we are collaborating and changing the information that we are making actually the same show, and that was the starting point. And then we developed that. So you were a showrunner,
sorry to interrupt you. No, you were a showrunner just at the very beginning of your career.
Yeah, that was right. That
we
kind of showrunner, then learning bit by bit, going forward with the different shows. And yeah, maybe right way to say it is that I actually learned by doing the job.
Yes, that's I mean, it's impressive because, in my experience, I became a showrunner after a long time career as a writer.
Yeah.
So you are lucky and...
And it was quite weird when we were selling this first show to MTV, the commercial channel in Finland, and explaining that we are willing to do the show in this way, that we have this showrunner method and writer's room, and no one has even heard the method itself. That what does it mean? What could that help to make the show and so on? So we started from that, somehow they believe that it is something worthwhile to test.
And do you have any problem during this process, at the very beginning, I mean, to be respected as a showrunner?
No, I think not, because it was a novelty and I had written shows already and directed, and now I'm putting those things together and explaining that it is way to control the content itself, that this is the way we are able to make more coherent shows and keep the budget and so go on. So they were trusting us, and because we were successful with the first show, it was easier next time to explain that this is a good method for us, especially our company.
And you have always been a showrunner for every series you created, or?
Yeah, I have been, yeah.
And do you have sometimes the thought that maybe it was better to be just the writer or just the director?
Several times. that's well, after each show, I think it would be nicer to go back and just write or make it something smaller or something like that. But I ended up to make the next show with the same method. So there is something also with this kind of method, with this giving as a creator something more than just when you are writing or developing something or creating something, that you are able to see the show from the scratch till the end.
Yeah, of course. So let's focus a little bit on your last show, Estonia. Yeah. We saw the trailer, so it's quite impressive for a European show. And can you tell us something more about the selling of this show? How did you sell it, and how did you create it, the idea?
Yeah, the MTV3, the commercial channel, was seeking so-called event series. And one of the topics which we were already talking about was Estonia. There was 25 years from the accident, and it was once again a huge topic on headlines in Sweden, Finland and Estonia, which 3 countries was involved with the accident and the accident investigation. But then I thought that it is too sensitive topic that I don't have the right angle to do anything about this show at all. And a couple of years later, we were living in the middle of COVID crisis, pandemic, and I was wondering how the hell it was possible that we handled the situation so different in Sweden and in Finland. That Finland was kind of model student of handling the situation, putting schools down, starting the homeschooling, and so go on, putting the whole country in the quarantine. And same time Sweden was wondering that, yeah, we don't do nothing. That is okay. It is gonna be solved in another ways. I was thinking how it was possible. We are living next to each other and we have totally different ways to see things and handle things. And that was the key element actually for the Estonia. We went back to the MTV3 and said, now we have an angle what we are willing to do. And it was the same meeting with the commissioners that they said, yeah, we are willing to see what is gonna be the show. So come and visit us in 2 weeks and explain a little bit more. And in 2 weeks we were back on the table and they said, yeah, we are commissioning this show. So it went extremely fast forward.
Great. And then how did you put all the budget together? Can I ask you what is the budget of the show?
Maybe so, because it had been in the headlines. It was, when we started, it was 15 million euros, which is not a lot, but it was the biggest budget in a Finnish TV business ever.
For 8 episodes, right?
For 8 episodes, yeah. And then we ended up in 16 million, which means that, yeah, we weren't able to put everything together in that budget, but you have to remember that there was a COVID, then there was a Ukraine war happening, and inflation, so go on, so yeah, there was quite many
and you
outside
did it all by yourself,
obstacles.
I mean, finding the other countries?
Yeah, we started inside our company, we presented show next to the TV4 in Sweden, and then had co-producers from Sweden and Estonia. It was so important that we have all these 3 countries on board with this project, because it was handling all those 3 countries country-wise. And that was the starting point. And when we had those 3 countries, we presented that to the Belgium side, where we were willing to do the water stage shootings in Light Studio, and Peeta, main owner of the company, was handling the German side, and we were presenting that to ProSieben before the shootings already, so we get the German money on the board, and then using incentives as much as possible. There was an incentive in Finland, Estonia, Belgium, so go on. That was part of the financing the whole project, and we were 100% financed when we started.
Okay. And so you created the writers' room. How many writers did you use to?
Yeah, this time I was willing to test a little bit different way than the previous shows, which I mentioned, because there were these 3 countries, and I'm not familiar with example Swedish culture or how human behave there and talk, and likewise in Estonia. So I needed a little bit different kind of method to do the writers' room. I had a couple of writers first in the room, 4 other writers, and we just figure out the arc of the show, what is happening there, which are the main characters' arc. And then we asked those Swedish writers, Estonian writers, come on board and start to check out a little more detailed these situations, what is actually happening in Sweden.
How did you choose the writers? I mean, did you know them, or you have a selection?
This time I used the familiar writers, except these Swedish and Estonian ones. And there we have a small test, meaning that I sent a concept Bible about show and the pilot episode, and asked them to write a couple of scenes and just talk about how they are approaching the situation, what they are seeing from text, and what they can actually bring on the board. And that was the kind of thing we chose the theme. It's a similar thing than casting, I think. You have to have those other kind of point of views and voices there. So that is the method how we choose the writers for this project.
Okay, so very interesting. I mean,
then we have also researchers this time, meaning that because there was so much material, real material, what we were need to go through before starting the actual writing process. So I hired historians from Finland, Sweden, and Estonia to put together material for us. Just figure out that this is our point of view angle, what kind of show we are willing to do. So let's give some kind of studies and history, news, documentary material, and they also went to the archives. And because it was 25 years from the accident, those NDAs which the investigator has signed has been released, so we were able to get material which no one else had before.
And do you think, this is my curiosity, that nowadays, I mean today, this method could be used as well, or something changed in the production market, choosing different writers?
I think especially in Finland, which is so small country, that if we are willing to do international shows, we need to have partners. We need to have somebody from outside of our country, which means that this kind of method that you have already talent involved in the writer process and so go on, opens those doors and make it possible that you can make those shows which are international in the first hand.
You know, because in my experience right now, all the broadcasters are asking, is that you write alone or with just one writer with you, not with a writer's room like yours? So
yeah, and we were talking about previous projects just before this show that actually it is good method for me to have those other voices in the same room, have mass of ideas and point of views on your hand, and then I'm willing to put everything together, meaning that they are writing first or second versions of the script, and then I'm going to put together the whole show, meaning rewrite. After that we have some kind of hopefully solid season for the show.
I want to focus again on the budget because I'm curious on how, not if you had the capacity to decide where put more money or less money. I mean, set designer, I need the best one. I don't know, how did you work?
Yeah, I think that is the main thing as a showrunner. There is those executive producers and salesmen who are actually going to negotiate the contracts between the financiers. But when we have the budget, then it's my job to decide where we are actually spending that money. And during the process and production, that is actually one of the main things. There is always those challenges, and there is always those situations that you have to decide what you are willing to do and where you can actually take it away, that you are capable of keep the budget as well as is possible.
Do you have some regrets about your decision on the budget?
Maybe not, because as I say, this time we have those outside obstacles, challenges quite a lot. One example is that when we started the show, we were willing to find a vessel, a ship, which is playing the Estonia, because Estonia is no more. We needed to have a ship where we are able to shoot the exterior interior shots and bridge especially. And we were able to find one ship which is from the same era, and it was something wonderful because it was quite similar ship. They were able to lift it, tilt it for us and so on, but it was in Odessa harbor. So in early 2022, something happened and we weren't able to use it anymore.
And how long was the shooting of the entire series?
It took 7 months to shoot it. Yeah.
It's quite fast. I mean.
It was fast production. It was, yeah. And
you were on the set every single day, or you were?
No, not at all. We were shooting, I think, in 6 different countries, which was also already quite a challenge. We started with the water tanks and the lights, doing those most difficult things first with our main cast and what we are willing to do, meaning the sinking of the ship. We were putting together, example, the outer deck of the Estonia there, which was 22 meters long, 12 meters wide set piece, and we were able to tilt it and sank it in the studio with the waves and the storm. And then we built the corridor sets there and the life raft scenes there. So we started with the most complex part of the show there. And then moved to Turkey, where we were able to find another vessel, which we actually used as Estonia. And then moved there to the Estonia, shooting the Estonia part, and a couple of scenes, interior scenes of MS Estonia also. Then Finland, then Sweden. So I was traveling before the shooting started in each country, going there, checking out that everything is okay. And my main director went along with me, Måns Månsson, and we were putting together the pre-production there, checking out that everything is working, then checking out a couple of first days when they started a new section and moving to the next one, preparing what is happening there. But we had also on-set editors who were putting together already the material, checking out that it is working. I was able to check it out also, that we have enough material. It is something which is going to be enough for the production. So I was capable of checking out the daily basis what is happening there in the set.
And let me know what happened in the editing room. Did you have the final say? Or
yeah, I did have a final say. Yeah, there was this. We decided to use so-called edit conference with all our financiers, because we had the Finnish financier, Swedish financier, Estonian, German one, and yeah, everybody has their own opinion and their knows and what they are wishing the show to be. So we decided to use this so-called editing conference, asking them to come to Finland, and we were watching first cuts of the 2 episodes together, having 2 days of discussions together, where we are, what we are willing to do. And then we were asking, actually, that could we have a little more time for the editing process, that we are able to actually test all of those variations, what are on our minds, that how this actually could be delivered together, the whole show. One example is to start, you have seen the pilot episode, yeah. The start in the script was totally different. It was the scene where we are seeing the passengers coming inside the Estonia and waving back to their nearest ones, and it was still a little bit bright evening day, and everything is cool, fine, they are laughing, there is emotionally that good atmosphere. And then we got to the Mayday call, calling Mayday, Mayday, are you calling the Mayday? And then the main card, the title card of the show, Estonia. But when we had a couple of editors from London, just because we were willing to have that outsider view, that are they understanding everything? Because Finnish viewers, Swedish viewers, Estonian viewers are understanding everything. They know the accident. They know almost everything what has happened. So we have that outsider eyes. And with George, we were talking about that it is necessary to show something inside the ship. Which side of ship it is, what is the situation, how it starts, the whole accident. So then we brought scene from the 5th episode to beginning of the to the beginning of the first one, the pilot episode, because the structure is that we are jumping back and forth in different timelines, showing piece by piece, and then the viewer have a whole view when he or she has watched the whole show. But that was part of the game, that we are checking out that if we are just chasing this sequence, that this episode, what is actually happening. And yeah, fortunately we had a couple of more months to just check it out, that what is going to be the end result.
But did you have the final say, or you?
Yeah, I did. That was the part when we were financing. That was the part what we were saying, that if you are willing to put together this kind of show, there has to be one who is able to say that this is what we are doing. Of course, there's those notes, different notes and wishes and discussion about how we are handling those. And I think my opinion is that if there is a note, there is a reason to write and give that note. But the answer might be something else. That how we are solving that situation and reacting to the note is a different thing. So there has to be this one voice to have a solid show.
And you were with just one director?
No, we had 2 directors. Main director was Månsson from Sweden, who was actually second unit director in Chernobyl series before that. And he had a DOP called J.P. Passi with him in the Chernobyl series. So we brought also J.P. Passi along to the process. So those were the main couple of the show, putting it together. And then we have another director, Juuso Syrjä from Finland, which has worked as a main director for me in previous shows. So he was the guy who I know what he can deliver, and he's very, very good with the action scenes and put together those most difficult technical parts of the show. So they were playing together. As I said, Månsson traveled with me beforehand and left Juuso Syrjä directing the rest of the block there in another country, and that was the method of how we are.
And the director were with you in the editing room, of course?
Yes.
Together or in different sessions?
Both of those. We had those remote control editing boxes also, because we have editors in London, Estonia, Finland and Sweden. So we had those boxes in our homes and have those long sessions via Zoom, talking about the content and seeing what is actually happening in each editing room, then coming together in Sweden and Finland, and then have those sessions together. And the last 2 months, which I mentioned, was with the main editor, George Gregg from London, Måns and me, putting together the whole show. So then there was only us 3 in the room.
So we don't have a lot of time. I know 5 minutes. Okay. Okay. So I will go on with other questions. Yeah. I want to know, in your opinion, what is the most challenging aspect of being a showrunner in Europe?
Well, I think if you are looking to whole Europe, one most difficult thing is to let financiers, channels and commissioners understand what the show running itself is, because we are quite few, as you know. Yeah, I know. Explaining what they can benefit if there is one person doing this kind of job, and that is still a challenge, especially during these times where we are living, when everybody is looking every line in the budget at what is happening there. And I try to explain that if you have a showrunner, there is a better control of budget also, that there is somebody who is actually thinking about the content's point of view, what we are doing there, and what is important, what is not, and how we are able to handle that. So it is tool for making better shows and series, I think, but it is still challenging to explain that how it actually works.
So, and you have the chance to work with a streamer just by yourself and the streamer. And how was your relationship with the streamer? I mean, as a showrunner,
it was actually quite nice. We started so-called Bordertown series. It was called Showrunning in Finland, but we started with collaboration with YLE, Finnish public broadcaster, and Netflix. So there was already 2 partners. YLE claimed that to be original YLE series, and Netflix said that it is original Netflix series. So there was already discussion between 2 financiers and commissioners, and it actually helped, I think, a little bit, because you can claim to other one that they are wishing to have this kind of approach, and they need to have this kind of approach because they have their own audience, and vice versa. When I was visiting YLE, and they were saying that this first scene in the pilot episode too hard for our viewers. It is too brutal. You can't do that because everybody is chasing the channel. And I was explaining, no, we are doing this for other purposes. That there are other voices who are willing to actually have especially this kind of content. And that helped. So further, when Netflix ordered the feature film version for this show, it was already established, which makes it also easier, that they were already knowing what kind of show is and the style of the show and what we are doing. So they were trusting what we were doing. There was, of course, once again, different kind of notes, but I think it wasn't.
And it was how many years ago, this experience?
We made a feature film 2020, I think.
And do you think now things are changing? Or?
Yeah, it is changing. Everything is changing right now. Meaning, example, there's those streamers who are saying that they are now ordering more content with less money, which means that they are aiming to have these wider audiences going nearer and nearer with content of those linear TV big channels to have the wider possible audience. And it is changing the environment. Meaning, when we started, everybody was looking different kind of content and something original. They were willing to risk to find something new, and I think now we are coming a little bit backwards in that sense, that everybody is seeking some kind of content which is already familiar with the original twist, as I said. But,
and do you think, the last question, do you think that the showrunner system could survive in this new market for European showrunners?
I claim that it is going to be the way how we are going to survive.
I agree with you.
Yeah, because otherwise there is more challenges in front of us. If you have showrunners, there is somebody who is capable of put together these kind of shows, what they are actually wishing for.
So thank you, Mikko, and thank you, everybody.
Thank you.